Tally, you must take the cue.
Together. Miss Tally, I can't believe you did this! Oh my god, you're so selfish, you don't care about others. Hey, what happened?
A group of new pretties was involved in a horrible accident when the floating ice rink shattered beneath their feet. Luckily, no one was killed, but there were several severe injuries.
It's Dr. Table. I'm here to offer you a job. Join us. Be a stripper.
What's going on? Troy?
The expedition in the novel is when we are getting to know about what happened to Tally. Scott Westerfield left us on a cliffhanger in the first novel, Uglies. In the book, we met all of the characters and we also read about Tally going to the smoke. But as we recently said, the author also wanted to include a cliffhanger of Tally going to Pretty Town and demanding to turn pretty. The novel Pretties is a book that is meant to show us if Tally can get back to the smoke without getting caught again by special circumstances. The conflict of the novel is trying not to get caught by special circumstances. Throughout the whole book, Pretties, Tally is trying to be secretive and not expose her plan to the ones that might stop her from getting back to the smoke. What happens in the story that builds this conflict is Tally meeting Zane and fighting through their cuss situation, encountering Dr. Cable once again and being offered a place at special circumstances, Zane's headaches that turn out to be triggered by something that opposing team came up with, and Tally's drawbacks on her journey back. A particular intense moment is when Tally and the Crans were leaving and they got the balloons. In the balloon, Tally and Zane had planned out how to take their cuffs off. In the process, Zane faced some difficulties. His cuff did not want to expand enough to get released. This set tension because everyone was ready to jump, but they were getting held back. As we may know, Scott Westerfield likes to leave cliffhangers at the end of his books. The resolution of the book, Pretties, was left as a cliffhanger just like the first book, Uglies. The resolution of the book Pretties ended up with Tally making a choice to leave Zane or stay with him. In this scene, there was a lot of action going on and came across a twist. Want to find out more? Check out Ugly series available in nearby bookstores.
One of the main topics in the novel Pretties is to escape and get to the smoke, which is located in the Rusty Ruins. I think that the Rusty Ruins represents a dystopia because it is our world now, but is represented in the future as a place that is destroyed from things that humans do in their everyday lives. The problem with going here is that there are people that are still uglies and they may change the pretty mindness of the new pretties if they go to this place. The government of the New Pretty Society are called the Specials, and one of their many jobs is to keep pretties out of the Rusty Ruins. There are many reasons why the Rusty Ruins is a dystopia. For one, the setting is described with things such as broken buildings, and two, the setting is always something smoky or shady skies. And the author, Scott Westerfield, makes it seem like an overall not good place to be. In the novel, the Rusty Ruins plays a major role in the two main characters, Tally and Zane's lives. It affects Tally's life because ever since the first novel, she has wanted to go back to the Rusty Ruins and find the smoke because they have sent her a very important message through two tiny pills they like to call a cure. It has affected Zane's life because he once tried to make it to the smoke, but then did not end up going. It is now a major goal for him to go now that he has taken the cure in the second novel. The Rusty Ruins also is a good example of a dystopia because they compare it to New Pretty Town, which is a utopia, and that makes the Rusty Ruins look even worse through the reader's eyes. These are some of the many examples of why I think that the Rusty Ruins represents a dystopia.
In the book Pretties, there are 5 main characters: Tally, Zane, Dr. Cable, Shay, and David.
Tally Youngblood is the protagonist in the Pretties. When she is going through everyday challenges, she tries her hardest to stay bubbly and find out the truth. She travels through these tough situations to find out what the government's hiding and what happened to the smoke after she left. Along the way, she continues to ruin the relationship between her and several of her friends. But when you read this story, you find out that Tally is loyal to her true friends and is willing to do anything to reach her goal. Zane is a sidekick to Tally and the Pretties. Unlike other tedious and lazy Pretties, he is sharp, strong, and intelligent. Zane has already noticed something wrong with new Pretties' heads. In the book, Zane is Tally's boyfriend and the only person involved whenever she takes the cure. Zane is willing to do anything to find out the truth about the lesions and what's happening to everyone's brains. Dr. Cable is the antagonist in the story. She's managed to find a way to ruin everything that brings Tally happiness. Dr. Cable is a high-level government official in charge of conducting transformation surgeries. Her views on allowing humans to regain intelligence is it would cause the destruction of the world. If she wasn't involved, Tally would have never ended up pretty in the first place. Shay and Tally were best friends at the beginning of each novel in the series. But Shay always ends up bringing Tally into a situation. Shay in this book becomes overthrown with jealousy, and at the end of the book ends up getting her revenge on Tally and Zane. David is Tally's ex-boyfriend and the leader of the Smokies. He appears at the end of the story when Tally reaches the new smoke. There, Tally will ruin everything with David whenever she says to leave because she's in love with Zane. Those were the 5 main characters and some of their characteristics from the Pretties.
One of the major themes in Pretties is communication. We can get this from when special circumstances put the metal cuffs on Tally and Zane. This happened after they climbed the tower to get the cure that Corey left for them. The cuffs can record everything that they say, which forces Tally and Zane to learn alternative ways of communicating with each other. This can teach us that the most important things cannot be said with words. Another lesson that we can learn from Pretties is to stay true to yourself. Tally has struggled with this since the beginning of the first novel, but it is even worse in Pretties. Now that she has become pretty, her brain has been tampered with. Some of her memories are fuzzy and others just aren't there at all. She can't remember people and events that have made her who she is today. She has also become pretty-minded. Being pretty-minded is a synonym for being dumb, careless, and unaware of the serious things that are happening around you. Through a series of risks and life-changing events, Tally manages to cure herself of her pretty-mindedness. Through this, we can learn that we can be our own most important assets. The last lesson we can learn from Pretties is loyalty. Tally displays great loyalty to the one she loves throughout the novels. An example of this would be when Maddie and David are telling Tally to leave Zane because special circumstances is coming. Tally refuses to leave Zane in his time of need, despite having to stand up to the one person she used to call her closest companion. This can teach us to stay loyal to the ones that we love and stand our ground.